I'm no expert on absolute statements or psychology or all those things. But over the years, I've made some observations which I would like to share. I personally am of the opinion that the reason some people make their opinions sound like absolute statements when referring to a person, a group of people, when trying to give feedback on something or an idea or food or something that just happened is because at that point in time, they probably lack empathy or are not self aware enough to have empathy. So, having been raised a third culture individual, my parents moved around a lot when I was growing up from different culture to another culture. And the culture at home was different from the culture that I experienced outside the home. So, I learned to adapt different cultures. An example would be in Nigeria, some families that I know of would welcome you with food when you visit them. If you served food or something. Now, according to the culture in the communities, different communities that I was raised in, it is absolutely rude to tell your host that the food is tasteless or too salty or something, to have a negative compliment for a food you did not pay for. It is okay for you to say thank you. Oh, thank you for the food. That is the most polite thing to do in the cultures that I was raised in Nigeria. But then when I hung out with a French in Nigeria, I realized that they had a different approach to things. Although they would tell you, je suis pas fan, I'm not a fan of this, which is more polite. They would also say something like, the food is too spicy. Why do you guys eat a lot of meat, fish, and stuff? Why is it this way? It's not cool. Why is your food too spicy? And on one occasion, I had to now say, why is your food too bland? And then the person got offended. I was like, so now you see how it sounds when you say that to me. Then in the United States, the first shock that I got was when somebody that I was close to at the time, who was American, found it easy to say, ew, this food is disgusting, it's nasty, for a food she didn't pay for. Then I realized that it was not just her, but on a broader scope, the people I also interacted with were quick to say things like, it's disgusting, it's nasty, it's messed up, that's messed up, ooh, that's messed up. Make absolute remarks about their opinions on something. Now, the danger in that is that people who respect you, who have some sort of parasocial relationship with you, who find you as an opinion maker, when you make those opinions sound like they are facts, would eventually run with it. There are absolute statements, universal laws, and universal statements that cannot be disproven. But as far as you're talking about human beings and cultures and groups of people different, especially different from your group, it is best to personalize them. An example would be if you were to visit somebody, whether in Nigeria or in the United States or France, and the person were to serve you food free of charge as a gesture of hospitality, if you don't like the food, it's best to consider the person first. So, empathy is the ability to share and understand the feelings, emotions, and realities of the other person. So, for someone who has empathy, before you quickly say, ooh, this food tastes nasty, this food is disgusting, you might want to put yourself in the shoes of the person who just served you food for free. And you could say something like, I know that you put in your best in making this food, and I can appreciate your effort. Is it okay for me to add a little more salt to the food? You have to be polite, especially if you did not pay for it. Now, if you go to a restaurant and pay for something, yes, your basic need or your performance need should be met. That is basic, right? But if it's a gift or if it's something that has nothing to do with you, someone is eating food right in front of you from a different culture, it's completely rude. And it's because of lack of empathy that you would say, ooh, what the hell are you eating? That looks like poop. Because I've had that done to me over and over. So it's the lack of empathy that makes us make absolute statements when giving feedback to someone or a group of people about something or an idea or something they are involved in. So next time, before you speedily make your absolute ew, that's disgusting. Nobody eats this nonsense. I've never seen anyone who eats this. Before you make that remark, put yourself in the shoes of the other person. Be aware of what you're about to do. So be self-aware and have some empathy. How this is helpful to somebody out there.